This is Sherwood Heath behind me. This here is gorse. Fabulous plant, and still extremely and unnecessarily underrated by site management of any side. This is so useful a plant for overwintering invertebrates. I've mentioned it before and I'll mention it again at some time. But now it's just starting to come into its own as a spring nectar source for honeybees and many other species of insects. This is the first opportunity to gain some sustenance after spending the winter quite often tucked away right in amongst these pin-sharp needles. It's a fabulous heathland plant. And here is a honeybee taking advantage of this spring nectar source. It's already collected a bit of pollen. This is the prime example of how important this shrub is. And the process at the moment that the bee is doing, by the looks of it, is transferring the pollen to the pollen baskets on the rear legs. Temperature today is 9.5 on the way here. So, more than warm enough for honeybees. And it won't be long before solitary bees also start to appear. So if you haven't done so yet, you can either buy yourself a bee hotel, as I often call them, which is usually a framework filled with lots of short canes for the solitary bees to nest in. Or if you're a bit more adventurous with a saw, a hammer, nails and maybe a skip, you can try making your own. But it's not just honeybees that are declining, but it's your solitary bees as well. The rate at which our gardens are gradually being concreted over makes it difficult for a number of species to be able to nest. As such, these important pollinators are having a hard time with it. But there is something that householders can do to help solitary bees. You can also put nest boxes up for bumblebees. There's a whole range of things you can do to help bees to cope with the tough life that they have. Planting lots of nectar-bearing plants is one thing, especially in gardens and towns and cities. That's vitally important. Not mowing roadside verges in early spring, removing that first flush of dandelion flowers. Why they do that, so someone can race around at 90 miles an hour down a little country lane in a Volvo, I'll never know. Pointless. Cut roadside verges by all means, but maybe only 5-10 metres from a junction. No need to do the sides of roads everywhere. Councils could save an awful lot of money by not cutting roadside verges. Perhaps just leave it to one cut in September or October. That'd be fine. Bees and other pollinators have it hard throughout the year. And say dandelions on those roadside verges, vitally important, just like this. See, there's so many vital components. The other thing that the homeowner can do, and it's a good thing that you can do with your kids, is to make what they call a bee hotel or a bee house. It's a simple wooden frame, usually with a sloping roof. It can be angled, it can be any design you want, but you want a frame that is about 3 to 4 inches in depth. That frame is then filled with a variety of pieces of wood with holes drilled in them of varying sizes. And you can use canes, garden canes, that are hollow in the centre, cut them down to size and fill the whole thing up. I've just done something like that at home. So, a quick time jump and we'll be in Warsaw before you know it. So this is the kind of thing that you can make to help your solitary bees. This is a simple frame made out of 3x2 wood. It's 3 inches deep, and then it's filled with these sections of 4-inch fence post, which are in turn drilled with various size holes. Just for aesthetic effect, I've used some smaller sections of fence post as well and done the same thing. You need to use different size holes for different species. All of the rest is filled in with 3-inch sections of 8-foot garden canes, which was bought from B&Q, but you can get them from any garden centre. 8-foot canes are brilliant because they give you, across their 8-foot length, various sized holes. Something to suit every solitary bee. But doing something like this, coupled with having a garden full of nectar-bearing plants, is one of the best things that you can do to conserve bees. Every little helps, and they need our help. Simple to make. Most people will be able to knock up something similar, and of course you can buy them. I wanted something larger than the smaller ones that tend to be for sale at garden centres and the like. And you don't have to have the one. Put them up on any sunny wall. They all help. So this is where I've got it situated. It's on a westerly facing and sheltered wall. Gets a lot of sunlight. But of course there's easy access here into the garden. Now during the summer the garden is a blaze of colour of various nectar-bearing flowers. Plant the flowers in your garden to attract the bees in, and then give them somewhere to call home. That's the name of the game. It's a real way of making a valuable contribution to nature, and especially to conserve solitary bees and solitary wasps as well. All the solitary species are perfectly harmless. So anyway, that's my little effort so far. Makes a change from drilling continual holes in the mortar of the house. Took about a day or so to build. Didn't cost us that much money. You can scrounge and scrape bits of wood and suitable materials from many places. Keep an eye out when you're wandering around. Need to start and look after the bees that visit your garden. You don't necessarily have to have a garden. A little window box, a couple of pot plants on the windowsill. Anything that flowers and provides bees with a nectar source is a vital component to the whole grand scheme of things. The situation for bees is really dire. There's been a lot of publicity regarding it. It's vitally important that with the continuation of the world's troubles, we don't lose sight of what else is also required. Look after your bees, because without the bees, there is no tomorrow.